Okay, so today we want to talk about Oscar Pistorius, the South African
Tink
sprinter
tink.
uh,
Tink
who
tink,
who's
as coined by Cat Williams.
who's been accused of murdering his girlfriend. He allegedly bludgeoned her to death with a bludgeoned her with a cricket bat and then
It's
shot
all
her.
it's all allegedly.
It's alleged because he hasn't gone to court. I mean, it doesn't look good for him, and he admits that he shot her, but he says he thought she was an intruder. This is neither here nor there.
I thought an
What we
intruder
want to
broke
talk
into
about.
my house and sat on my toilet.
It's happened.
I guess
Um,
he really had to take it down. Bad.
anyway, so um, what I thought was interesting, I expected this to be a really good opportunity for the anti-gun lobby to talk about, this is another
Mm,
example of why guns shouldn't be in the home. So it
right.
hasn't surprised me that this is the discussion that's being had. That doesn't surprise me a bit. What did surprise me is that apparently steroids were found in his home. And so now
Yes.
people are talking about,
He's an athlete.
the infamous roid rage defense
He has steroids. It's
that
just a given,
of
right?
course he was so enraged because of all his steroid use that no wonder he beat her with a cricket bat and shot her to death. This is what people do when they're on the steroids.
Yeah, the
And I
scary old
thought,
steroids.
and but it makes you wonder why are we demonizing steroids? Is roid rage a real thing?
It's instinctive for people to do that like they do with guns. You hear about a horrific gun story, Sandy Hook, or name other gun stories, and you immediately want to blame the gun. In this case, with steroids, it's usually blamed the substance. And it's,
And
if you measure, once again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a statistician, but it's one of those things where, dude, everybody is doing it.
a lot of
All
people
the
are on
athletes,
steroids.
anyone who is in a sport, a competitive field, physically, is doing some sort of a substance.
And if you know
And they're
people,
hiding it. There's ways to hide
yeah.
it. There's all kinds of ways to circumvent the tests, to pass them, etc. They're
So
doing it. And how many of them are flipping out and killing their girlfriends? If
not a
millions of
lot.
people are doing it, and 1% of them are flipping out and killing their girlfriends, was it the juice that made them flip out? Or was it just because they're crazy, stupid people and they flipped out and just killed their girlfriend?
So again, the question is, why are we so mad about steroids? There's a really great documentary. It's called Faster, Better, Stronger,
Yeah.
I think, that talks about steroids, and it's very impartial.
A
And
couple of brothers or three brothers or something.
yeah, and so it's a good place to go if you want a really impartial view on the topic. But what it seems to me is that we don't want people using steroids. For why not? We don't have any problem with giving women estrogen if they need some hormone therapy. That's very common.
Hormone therapy is kind of one thing, and this is something I always thought of. A lot of girls I know, women, girls, when they have irregular periods or menstrual other
Menopause,
menstrual problems, they can
perimenopause.
easily go to a physician, explain their symptoms, and he goes, "Here's your estrogen pills. Here's your birth control pills, which is an estrogen
Here's
form,
your
right?
yes it is.
Here's all these other estrogen supplements to help you through whatever it is." But if a guy goes into a doctor and says, "Look, I'm not really feeling like myself anymore," andropause, they call it for men, menopause for women. You almost go in there and feel a little bit like I can't speak from experience, but I would imagine you would be going in there feeling like you were, asking for something really bad. And I imagine it would be embarrassing, and you'd have to sort of dance around your symptoms. And in that movie, it shows that young man go in and sort of do that. He has to kind of
Because
cook up a story in order to get the physician to prescribe him some form of a hormone therapy, if I remember right.
steroids have a very illicit connotation. The reputation is very tarnished. And why is that? Steroids are a naturally occurring chemical in the body. Your body makes steroids on its own.
Right,
So
but they're arguing this is a superhuman dose
sure.
and it's going to make you go crazy.
You
Well,
know
it's
what?
just like marijuana makes us all go crazy and murder people, right? Those movies from the 20s,
Yeah.
what was it called? Reefer Madness, where, oh yeah, if we all smoke marijuana, we're going to pick up the fireplace tools and bash each other over the head. I pointed that way because there's a fireplace right there.
Anyway, so long story short, steroids, I believe, are getting a bad rap. In fact, there was a man in that documentary that I'm speaking of, and this is well known. There's the application for steroids in treating HIV,
Right.
patients with HIV, because it increases their lean muscle mass and it helps with their symptoms. Men who are aging, obviously it aids in your athletic performance. There are a lot of applications, especially within when we're just talking about men's overall health.
The point
That
is,
steroids are very beneficial, but for some reason we want to talk about how bad they are.
the point is, it's done every day safely by probably millions of people around the world.
Actors,
They're not killing each other. They're not killing spouses. They're not killing friends. They're not killing random people. Actors especially, and athletes particularly, are doing this, and not all of them are going out and killing people. It's like taking one cross-section of the population and saying, well, because they own a brown shaded lamp, they've gone out and killed someone. You might could draw a correlation. Well, the 3 people that murdered their 3 spouses this past week all had brown shaded lamps. At that point, I suppose you could draw a conclusion, but did they ever rule anything out before they start demonizing the guy's steroid use in the media? Did they ever rule out that he was on other drugs, other substances, an alcoholic, emotional problems, etc.? Before we hear about the juice, we always hear about the juice first. It's not the juice. Lots of people are doing it every day. I work out. I don't do juice. But I can tell you right now that if I did, I could probably do it safely.